You have no concept of time. Egyptians were already treating the pyramids like ancient tourist attractions. Some sharks alive today were born before the United States existed, and Pluto still hasn't finished a single lap around the sun since we discovered it. Buckle up, your brain's timeline is about to snap. The pyramids were already ancient, to the ancient Egyptians. The Great Pyramid of Khufu was completed in the early 25th century BCE, roughly 2550 to 2528 BCE. That's about 4,500 years ago. By the time of the New Kingdom, more than 1,000 years later, Egyptians were visiting these monuments, leaving visitor graffiti and even restoring older structures. Thutmose IV's famous dream stela records attention to the Sphinx long after its construction, showing it was already treated as ancient heritage. So yes, ancient Egyptians also stood there, looked up, and went, wow, that's old. Mammoths still roamed when the pyramids went up. Woolly mammoths didn't all vanish at once. A population survived on Wrangel Island until 1650 BCE, almost 1,000 years after Khufu's pyramid was finished. So there were mammoths alive while Egyptians were building pyramids. Some sharks are older than the USA. Greenland sharks are the longest-lived vertebrates known. Radiocarbon dating of their eye lenses shows lifespans of at least 272 years, with individuals estimated around 392 to 120 years, meaning some living sharks could have been born well before 1776. Imagine a shark that was already middle-aged when the US Constitution was signed. Time is weird. Pluto, discovered in 1930. Still hasn't finished one orbit. Pluto was discovered in 1930 and takes about 248 Earth years to go around the Sun, which means it won't complete a single orbit since discovery until the year 2178. We're not even halfway. That means your great-great-great-grandkids will celebrate its first year since discovery party. Cleopatra is closer to the moon landing than to the pyramids. Cleopatra died in 30 BCE. Apollo 11 landed in 1969 CE, that's about 2,000 years after Cleopatra. But the Great Pyramid was completed around 2,550 BCE, which is more than 2,400 years before Cleopatra. She's historically closer to us than to the pyramid builders. Oxford existed long before calculators were gadgets. Teaching at the University of Oxford began by 1096. Back then, a calculator meant a person who calculates. The first mechanical calculator, Pascal's Pascaline, was from 1642, centuries later. Handheld electronic calculators are a child of the 1960s 70s. So when Oxford started, there were no calculators to teach with, only human brains, quills, and abacai. T-Rex is closer to us than to Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus lived roughly 155 to 150 million years ago. T-Rex about 68 to 66 million years ago, a gap of 80 million years. Humans are 66 million years after T-Rex. So yes, T-Rex is temporally closer to humans than to Stegosaurus. The Roman Empire fell closer to us than to the pyramids. The Western Roman Empire traditionally fell in 476 CE. That's about 1,550 years ago, much closer to today than to the Great Pyramid's completion more than 4,500 years ago. The fax is older than the telephone. The first practical fax technology traces to Alexander Bain in 1843. Alexander Graham Bell patented the telephone in 1876. Your office dinosaur predates your phone by 3 decades. The last guillotine execution in France was in 1977. France used the guillotine for capital punishment until 1977, the same year the first Star Wars film debuted. Modern pop culture and medieval-looking punishment overlap. Nintendo is older than airplanes. Nintendo was founded in 1889 as a playing card company, 14 years before the Wright brothers' first powered flight in 1903. Harvard is older than calculus. Harvard University was founded in 1636. Newton and Leibniz developed calculus in the late 17th century, decades later. A college existed before the math class it now requires. Oxford predates the Aztec Empire. Teaching at Oxford predates the formal Aztec Empire, Triple Alliance, which began around 1428 CE, by roughly 3 centuries. So, did any of these warp your sense of time? Drop the one that shocked you most in the comments. Like and subscribe, and remember, your timeline is lying to you.